Dude, the final season of My Hero is a total spectacle. Only episodes rated 9 and above. Come with me for the most thrilling fights and epic conclusions from A Hero School. Stick around till the end. So let's get to the video. All Might clashes with All for One, the big villain who planted hatred in Tamura Shigaraki and who affected him too. There's no way he can ignore All Might, who puts on his new battlesuit. The #1 hero, Armored All Might, is here to lay the smackdown on the villain. All for One has had his plans messed up by him his whole life. He thinks there's no way to stop him and hates All Might smile like he's already won. The fight starts with All Might using techniques inspired by students, and All for One doesn't fall behind. All Might's shield is already down to 66%, but he keeps pushing forward, and All for One says that way of fighting only works if you have the All for One. All Might remembers his teenage years, where he wanted to create a peaceful world and be a symbol to maintain it. Nana asked what kind of symbol, and he answered the symbol of peace. Toshinori wanted to show a power that would free people's hearts from darkness. In the fight, All for One deals a fatal blow to All Might, but he doesn't give up and uses Todoroki's ice power on the villain. Even if his flame goes out, someone will light it. 300 meters from the Clash of Titans, Aoyama and Fat Gum are defeated by the villain Kaneda, a serial people destiner. Kaneda's power makes plants grow in his victim's flesh. Fat Gum starts to thin out because of this and can no longer use absorption. Aoyama can't handle the villain without his belt that projects his laser beam. But he gathers all his strength, remembers his past mistakes, and wants to shine once more to light everyone's path. With that, Aoyama, with his sparkle, shoots his laser everywhere. The villain thought it was useless, but then the invisible girl, Hagakure, uses her refraction on the laser and uses the naval laser on Kaneda with her whole body. This is the future All Might always talked about. Even if his flame goes out, others will carry his will to shine even brighter. The technological laser cannon from Aoyama hits All for One and starts to burn him. All Might uses everything he has to keep All for One pinned down. People around the world watch the broadcast. An old lady thinks it doesn't matter who wins this fight, nothing will change in their lives because it's all on the other side of the world. But her grandson prays for All Might to win the battle. His cannon is destroyed and All for One goes in for the attack and lands a huge blow on All Might, saying he has lost everything, his smile and hope. Only despair remains for him. But something strange happens and All for One can't move. That's because Stain shows up and licks All for One's blood, telling All Might to move forward. Aoyama frees himself and sees Hagakure. The invisible girl appeared there as she came into the world, getting flustered and telling Aoyama not to look, and she runs off. Hagakure realizes she became visible because of Aoyama's light. Her quirk got stronger and bugged out when they clashed before at school. All Might's childhood is shown, a little hero singing the Anpanman song with his mother, and he remembers how it all began. He walked a long road to get where he is, so he decided to look back and saw his legacy, the lights he cultivated during his career, his little heroes. Stain overheard Ida and Todoroki's conversation and deduced what was happening with All Might. So he searched for blood remnants left by the battle and by the smell, identified which was All for One's blood. So he went to the battle of the two legends and helped All Might. The #1 hero gets up and attacks alongside Stain. But All for One uses a blood power and explodes himself. The damn guy predicted what Stain would do and manages to capture him. With this power, he can rewrite his blood type. So now Stain can't use his blood coagulation quirk on him. All Might tries to help, but it's no use. Stain is thrown far away and is all messed up. With that, All for One wants to steal his blood curdle quirk. So Stain leaves his final thoughts for All Might, that he was the one who taught him what a hero is, and he bites the dust by All for One, who then fires a laser beam at All Might. The Hercules shield defends All Might for the last time, and a flash of light spreads everywhere. All Might can't afford to die now and flashes a 1,000 aura smile at All for One, telling him to bring it on. All for One sees there's no time for this and needs to merge with Shigaraki immediately. He tries to force himself into Shigaraki's body, but the angry teen doesn't want it and tells him to stay away and not interfere. But for All for One, that's not a problem. He heads there, taking All Might with him. The entire planet sees the #1 hero all tattered and destroyed. Midoriya can't go save his master and leave his friends to die by Shigaraki. A choice has to be made. With that, All Might tries to take All for One with him to the afterlife. But even if it doesn't work, the villain will rewind until he becomes a child. But All for One destroys the device, and nothing is left for All Might, whose body is paralyzed by Stain's power. When the worldwide symbol of peace is about to bite the dust, and Midoriya looks on in despair begging for someone's help, the true GOAT appears. Bakugo returns from the dead and has an aura like he's transcended. The seeds All Might planted bore fruit, and now it's time for the era of the new heroes to begin. Midoriya and Bakugo look at each other and know exactly what to do. Bakugo flies towards him, and Midoriya uses his gear to launch young Bakugo once more to save All Might. Shigaraki says there's no time for any of this. All for One is just about to send All Might to his grave, and Night Eye's last words take on a new meaning. He wanted to change the future where All Might died, so he spent time looking for a way, but it was no use. Midoriya showed him something. He thought it had to do with energy, a strong vision with no room for doubt. And energy wished for the future, and he knew it wasn't just Midoriya. Everyone believed and built it. People around the world pray for a better future for All Might to live. That energy of the future is the GOAT, Bakugo. The guy saves All Might from death, and it's time to win this thing. Edgeshot managed to stitch young Bakugo's heart together just in time and comes out all wounded and almost dead. He used his own body to make the stitches so they wouldn't come undone easily. Every breath Bakugo takes hurts like it's killing him, but the kid needs to endure. Bakugo thanks Edgeshot, and he says what really saved him was his explosive quirk that made his heart start beating again. The power he cultivated for years bore incredible fruit. Bakugo takes the remains of All Might's armor and gives a big, thankful smile. All for One tries to go grab Shigaraki's body, but Bakugo goes after him and catches up, saying he's the final boss in this damn thing and give him a super explosion to the face. The GOAT is gonna end the ugly bastard's bloodline. Midoriya can't touch Shigaraki or he'll die, and will need to use everything he has from his gear for it, but soon after he'll be paralyzed by the side effect. Now it's time for everyone to go beyond, plus ultra. Bakugo awakens at explosive super speed, goes wild, and destroys every building in sight to defeat All for One. He's on another level and can take the lead. His parents watch their son shining. His mom says they need to see their boy with that crazy smile doing what he wants most. All for One doesn't understand how a little pebble in his path makes him tremble more than All Might did. He remembers the words of the second holder. Bakugo is a lot like him. Then comes All for One's accumulated hatred. If he hadn't extended his hand to Yoichi, this wouldn't be happening now. So Bakugo sends him flying once more. All for One screams in rage that it's all Kudo's fault. But the GOAT says the one who's going to defeat him is Kachan Bakugo. Here you learn about the villain All for One's past, which is nothing sad to make you sympathize with the guy and understand his reasons. The dude was bad from the start, like a good old school villain. His mother was homeless, abandoned while pregnant, and had her children under a bridge on a day of intense rain. The first baby born with powers was said to be glowing. From then on, news like that spread worldwide. Scientists of the time studied these phenomena as a disease and stated that metapowers were a new genetic form different from humans. This insensitive, rushed speech made society split and accelerated the chaos. One day, a child All for One arrived at a group of normal people who wanted to confront the metahumans, and that night, that being with demonic, apathetic eyes sent everyone to their graves with the powers he stole from his mother. On the day of his birth, All for One took everything around him as his property. His younger, much weaker brother was his possession. He stole his mother's powers and sucked everything from her until she died. Yoichi, seeing his brother's cruelty, said the world was in chaos and that All for One couldn't use his gift to spread more tragedy in the world. He only thinks about satisfying his desires. All for One said his dream had become reality and that he would rewrite the world's reality, and he gave a quirk to Yoichi, because he was the first thing All for One ever gained. One day, the second holder in his resistance group saved Yoichi, but if All for One couldn't have him, no one would. And so he slaughtered his younger brother. In the present, All for One has to end everything to reach his goal. He releases all his accumulated quirks to push through. Bakugo will die if he takes that mass of flesh head-on. All Might yells for him to dodge, but Bakugo is going to blow it all up with his strength, with his newly awakened technique. Explosive sweat droplets coated with normal sweat that he launched without exploding and then detonated all at once in All for One's face. With just one perfectly mastered quirk against a guy with many and no proficiency in them. Who do you think wins? All for One says this is his story, but he's wrong, and Bakugo proves it by blasting him from all sides, from inside out and everything else. He continues with a barrage of explosions. This story was never about the villain, but about all the heroes. With a final explosion, All for One reverts to when he was a baby, a child who always craved attention. That's all he ever was. Bakugo has no strength left and is about to fall to the ground, thinking it's okay because there's a baby All for One in front of him, but he gathers his strength and remains standing. All for One uses his thorn quirk and tries one last time to win, but it's no use. So he rewinds until he's less than an atom and becomes nothing. Bakugo falls to the ground but wishes he could have stayed standing like All Might. At least he raised his fist. Now only Midoriya remains for everything to reach its conclusion. Citizens watch the city's destruction with heavy hearts. The old man lost the farm and house that belonged to his grandfather, and Midoriya's mom cries for her son's safety. Shigaraki aims his decay deep underground, not at the surface. So a part of Shizuoka will vanish instantly. All of Japan could sink in less than a week if Shigaraki wishes. Midoriya continues his fight in the sky and smashes Shigaraki in the face, but it doesn't help much. Shigaraki has already gotten used to his speed and gets close to touching Midoriya, who barely dodges and rips off some of Shigaraki's fingers, which quickly regenerate. But then comes the bad news. In that split-second touch, Shinomori's Danger Sense quirk was stolen, and he asked them to take care of Nana. Now the villain with 1,000 quirks possesses one for all's powers. Midoriya takes the fight to solid ground, and he's all broken and bleeding. The third holder shows they've reached Mount Fuji, which could be a huge problem if the decay hits the mountain and the volcano erupts. They fight within the sixth holder's smokescreen, and Midoriya has a lot to think about. If it were just about killing Shigaraki, it'd be easier, but he wants to save him and protect everyone at the same time. Midoriya won't abandon the crying boy inside Shigaraki no matter what. He wants to save Tenko Shimura. Nana tries to get Deku to give up on Shigaraki, saying some people are beyond saving and this needs to stop now. Midoriya says no because if that were true, Shigaraki wouldn't have kept that sad, crying child locked inside himself. He just put a lid on it. Until that lid breaks, Midoriya won't stop punching. Tashinori detects a crack in Shigaraki's mind. So the second holder decides to make a bet and asks Deku to let go of One for All. Star and Stripe detected the child Tenko Shimura within the crack in Shigaraki's mind and told her master, All Might. He wakes up, feeling the vestiges of One for All, the power accumulated over ages, fading away. Deku gets up and uses Black Whip to stay on his feet. Now the plan is to give One for All to Shigaraki and destroy him from the inside out, thereby saving the child within. Shigaraki looks at Deku and says he doesn't look much like a hero in that state. Deku will need to surpass Shigaraki's speed without the Gearshift power and implant the second holder in him. To transfer One for All, he needs to get some of his DNA into the receiver. Midoriya is going to smear his blood into an open wound on Shigaraki so One for All can be transferred. The problem is, the villain's Ultra Regeneration won't make it easy. The moment of Deku's impact will be crucial for the power transfer. But Shigaraki is suspicious of Deku and the other One for All holder schemes. After managing to trick Shigaraki in the smokescreen, the second holder is transferred into the villain's consciousness and will suffer the recoil effect to stop him from using his quirks. Midoriya launches a smash, and the holders run and unite to be transferred into Shigaraki, passing through all the memories up to now. Deku manages to land a punch and thinks he transfers all of his One for All to the villain. However, it doesn't work, and the holders are rejected. Midoriya tries again, and this time he successfully transfers his One for All. But Nana Shimura is left behind, the only one repelled. This is because she isn't at her maximum willpower, due to this involving her grandson and her abandoning her son. So Deku enters Shigaraki's subconscious and sees Nana there along with Tamura's father hitting him. Deku runs to save Shigaraki, but his mind is pushing him away. Tenko's father says that person in the photo isn't Shigaraki's grandmother, but a monster who abandoned her family, saying a superhero is someone who leaves their family to save strangers. Nana Shimura cries hard and blames herself for abandoning her son, but it was the only way. If she hadn't, All for One would have used him against her. If Nana had defeated All for One back then and gone home, things would be different. Deku asks Nana Shimura for help, and she breaks through Shigaraki's mind, apologizing to Kotaro for not returning and saying sorry to Shigaraki. All of this was Grandma's fault. Deku goes back to the day Shigaraki first awakened his quirk and feels the same sensation as when Shigaraki unlocked new powers. Tenko's puppy bites the dust. He gets so scared and runs for help, but his sister sees the dog's body and runs away. Kid Deku stops him, and it's time to save Shigaraki. Tenko just needed someone to lend a hand, and Deku is going to do the same as was done for him. That's why he's here, and he says everything will be okay. Midoriya's feelings reach him, but Tenko wants to become the hero for the villains who believe in him, who were always by his side. In the real world, Shigaraki's fingers are crumbling. Then come the memories of All for One talking to Tenko's father. It was all that devil's plan from the start. He manipulated Kotaro's existing hatred for heroes on every imaginable level and made it grow even more. He made the guy have a son to be a sibling for his firstborn, just to steal baby Tenko's quirk factor and later give him an inferior copy of Overhaul's power. But without the rewind part of the decay, all the accumulated hatred and Shigaraki's experiences since birth were never Tenko's own will, but All for One's. Now the worst happens. All for One takes possession of Shigaraki's body and silences Tenko's internal screams. He assumes his final form, though his body is pretty beat up, and Shigaraki's decay and hatred have vanished. Deku can't do anything, as he no longer has One for All or his arms. But the kid doesn't give up fighting. Then Class 1A arrives for the rescue, and through Kurojari's portal comes the other goat, Aizawa. He got a piece of Aries' horn from her and rewinds the damage to Deku, so he gets his arms back. So the whole class arrives and will help Deku reach the top and win this fight. All for One sees all this weak, useless flesh and doesn't care. When his brother was permanently gone from the vestiges, only a hole was left in his chest, and nothing can fill it, except a beating. Right, you devilish villain. The guy is just plain bad. For him, there's no, because he's suffered in the past. All for One has been evil since the day he was born, my dude. The real bad guy incarnate. All for One levitates and conjures his weird quirks for the final battle. Then, to everyone's surprise, Endeavor and Todoroki arrive for the fight. Just like you're gonna leave your like and subscribe, my friend. Also, as a surprise, thanks and back to it, President Mike arrives with various other heroes, and it's time to gang up and trash All for One. The great villain doesn't see these insects as even coming close to All Might, but he doesn't understand that together, everyone is a symbol of hope. Deku gets up, and Aoyama helps him move forward, just like all the people in the shelters cheering for Deku to save the world. So just like All Might, the last ember of one for All ignites and makes him run. All of Class 1A helps Deku so he can focus his strength directly on All for One. And the villain keeps devastating everyone. Midoriya reaches All for One, who tries to push him away, and Deku says he is nothing but a lonely man, not a demon king who can do anything. With that, from the inside out, Shigaraki and the Vestiges destroy All for One together with Deku. In this, Shigaraki frees himself and gives a final goodbye to Deku, saying he was right, he was just a crying child. Then, Tenko Shimura asks Midoriya to tell Spinner that Shigaraki fought to the end to destroy everything. And so, in a beautiful scene, with everyone looking up, the greatest hero saved the world. International heroes went to Japan to help with Jaka's reconstruction after the battle ended, all within a week. The rebuilding is moving at an insane speed. Countries like the United States sent several heroes to help. A reconstruction on this scale would take 10 years in a world without quirks. At the hospital, the doctor tells Bakugo and his parents that his arm won't return to normal. After the fight, they performed the best possible surgery on Bakugo to unify the shattered bone fragments in his arm. If he does physical therapy, there might be some hope, but the chances are slim. The doctor says if Bakugo wants to keep being a hero, he could use prosthetics like Maruko, but the god of explosions, Dynamite, says he needs his own hands for his power to work. So that's a no-go. His parents grieve for their son. Bakugo overhears All Might's conversation with Deku and finds out he lost one for all and only has an ember left. Bakugo cries hard, remembering all the times he mistreated Deku for not having a quirk, blaming himself a lot. All Might thanks the two heroes and says they are the greatest and are his legacy. Even though the war is over, there are still wounds that need to heal, because peace doesn't arrive magically. The UA third-year graduation happens, and Mirio closes it with a heroic speech about there being no future in a world without smiles. Moving forward, Todoroki Shoto goes with his family to see Dabi, or rather Toya. They see a Toya who is completely charred and doesn't have much time left to live. He can only talk for a few minutes. In this family conversation, Enji Todoroki says he will visit him every day to listen to his son, even if all Toya has to say is hatred for his father and what the Todoroki family represents. Toya is moved and needs to rest, as his heart can't take it anymore. As the family is leaving, Toya answers Shoto that his favorite food is soba, and Shoto says his is soba too. Then Toya apologizes to his brother. My dude, that's everything up to now in My Hero Academia. Man, only emotional episodes that tug at the heartstrings. If you agree, leave a like. If you don't agree, comment. If you enjoyed the video until the end, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. And check the description for more recap videos. Thanks for the constant support, and peace out.